cameras, action. Now let's engage in the dialogue. Let me browse through your mind like a catalog. Conscious metaphysics, allow me to break down the specifics. Educate, motivate. If you don't feel free, you can liberate. An LLC is what I'm building, the #1 podcast in the building. So let me slide on up in the Bentley truck in my Versace shirts. They can't get enough of this deep conversation, expansion, elevation. I'll send you a link you can tap in. It ain't quite what I used to do back then. Now I get it on the front and the back end. Multiple money streams keep coming in. Enlighten, empower, evolve. Enlighten, empower, evolve. Greetings, everyone. I'm Luke Bryan Smith, and welcome to Enlightened, Empowered, Evolved. I believe everyone's doing well and everything is unfolding perfectly. I'm excited yet again, and you know why, because I enjoy engaging in high vibrational dialogues with people from around the world. And today is no different. I have an amazing guest who is an Integrative Somatic Coach, CEO of Happy Heart, Love and Life, Inc. She's been accepted as an executive contributor for Brains Magazine and a whole lot more. Before I even list anymore, I want to introduce her. Sonia Guzman. How are you today, Sonia?
I'm wonderful. How are you doing? Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm doing great, and I'm so excited to talk to you. I love meeting new people. I believe in serendipity and that everything happens the way it's supposed to, and you're here because you're meant to be here, and I'm just so excited. So let's just get right into it, Sonia. You said you had a lot of, I don't even know which way to approach, because you kind of threw me off, and not in a bad way. You said, I have so much to talk about. So I want to at least feel like that I'm being a host by asking you at least one question, and then I want you to just take us wherever you want to take us. So
All right, sounds good.
tell me what an integrative, elaborate a bit
Yep.
on this integrative somatic
Yep.
coach. What does that mean?
Yeah, so integrated from the sense that it incorporates all aspects of life. So whether
Oh,
it's
I
your
missed. Oh,
work,
excuse me. I didn't pronounce it right. Integrative,
that's
not
right.
integrative.
Well, I
Okay.
kind of like the way you pronounced it, quite frankly. I just couldn't do it.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I'm sorry. So anyway, it incorporates.
All aspects of your life. So if you think about and it's multi-leveled, integrated multiple aspects of your life, but also multi-leveled. Because if you think about, a lot of us think, oh, we have to be very professional at work, and that is only one part of my identity or persona. And then when I'm at home, I'm a little bit different with my family. And then you have those friends that you've had for years, and they've seen you at all stages, so you're a little bit more free in that sense with them. And then so integrated from the standpoint that you show up as your being in all of those pieces. And so even though you may bring out certain pieces of your personality to shine in different pieces, you still are one whole person. And integrated from the standpoint that all of our experiences that we've ever had in our lives inform how we behave in different scenarios with different individuals. And so looking at ourselves as a whole, and not just ourselves, but the things we interact with in life, and the experiences that we have as a whole piece, that is informing the way we live our lives. And somatic also brings in integrative from the standpoint that everything that you think, plan, or do is executed through the body. And so somatic is everything referring to the body. So you're integrating the mind, the body, and all of your being, and all facets of your being.
Wow, that's amazing. So you're the coach of all of that.
Yes,
And
yes, I bring all the pieces together.
yes, and that's amazing. And that totally just sparks thought in my mind, and just also just agreeing with you. It really, yeah, just throughout my journey, learning that everything that we've encountered, uh, I mean, and it makes so much sense now. I mean, it makes us who we are. And as a coach, what do you do in regards to all of this? Do you help break down? I don't even want to put any words. What do you do as a what is some of the key components of what you do as a
Yeah,
coach, as a somatic and integrative somatic coach?
yeah, absolutely. So what we do is we look at what your overall objective is. So some of my clients have personal goals. Most of my clients are entrepreneurs, professionals. They have big visions for the impact they're going to make in the world. And so we start at where do you want to go? Where are you headed? So if you look at coaching, coaching is very much forward looking. It's like what direction do you want to take? Optimization, performance is often the goal. So what we do is we look at your big picture vision and we start to suss out like what's working really well, but also what's not working. And then your body is the tool to helping us get through all the barriers and challenges that are showing up for us. So if you think about it, Lute sitting here today is prepared to do this work based on your experiences in the past, right?
Right,
And
right,
so you've come to this point. So if you're thinking of scaling down the road, there's experiences that are informing, and they may be serving you, or they could be potentially getting in the way. So, for example, and I'm not speaking for you specifically, but in
no,
general, like,
example,
yeah,
yes, yes, yes,
yeah, in
so to
general. So,
speak.
for example, yeah. So I'll use an example of one of my clients. She has a big firm and she has lots of employees. And so she still was operating when we started working together a year ago as the small business entrepreneur mindset. And she's extremely talented and extremely capable at the work she does, but she kept coming up the same limits, completely drained of energy because she's doing so many things. Well, you can't really make it to $1 million firm and operate the same way that you did at $100,000 or
Right, right,
$250,000 because your priorities change. You have new priorities. You have new focuses, and you're building your team and growing your client base, and therefore your role needs to pivot and shift accordingly. But if you don't recognize where you're still stuck in the previous mindset, all the things that prepared you to get up to that point to do those things, then you're kind of stuck from going on to that next level of growth and that next level of exploration. And what ends
right,
up happening, if you think about our bodies and our minds, our nervous systems are prepared to protect us from danger, protect us from threats, right? And so if we feel like the objective or the vision or the goal we're working towards feels so big that we can't hold that idea in our nervous system. Mentally, we might say, I can do it. I have all the skills. I know the job. I have the roadmap. I know the things. But if your nervous system is fighting you, your body's not going to help you. So what ends up happening for a lot of high achieving entrepreneurs, they end up thinking, oh, I keep procrastinating. I keep, not manifesting the thing that I'm trying to do. I'm failing at my client conversations. But why is that? Because if they were to succeed, it would be too much for their nervous system to handle.
Allow me to just interject real quick, and I don't want to mess up your flow, so please keep that mind frame right there, because I'm enjoying listening to you, and that's why it's sparking so much for me to say. A couple of things that reminded me of, I've heard and read throughout my journey that a lot of times we think, and you'll understand where I'm going with this. Why hasn't this happened yet? And oftentimes it hasn't happened because you're, to put it in layman's terms, you're not ready for it. And you just affirm that. If you're really not ready for something, that's not what you're manifesting. Or you can, and you can just mess it all up. Like you said,
Yeah.
your nerves, whatever, everything is not in alignment to accept where you want to be. And then another thing that you said earlier, and I can't pinpoint exactly what you said, but it reminded me of keep thinking the same thoughts, keep doing the same thing, and you get the same results. Now, that can be used in various terms, which means in the way that you used it, you're keeping using these same methodologies to get to the $100,000 platform. So those same things aren't going to work for the $1 million platform. You see what I'm saying?
That's
So
right.
that clicked within me, and and that can be used in multiple dimensions in regards to failure, and you wondering why that you keep encountering these adversities because you're thinking you're not doing anything different, or reaching a ceiling in regards to, like you said, business success, your idea of success and finance. It's like, well, you're thinking, and still in that same mind frame to just get there and no higher. So that's amazing. You sparked those two things within me right now. I thought about that. Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I
And you
didn't put it
summarized
as
it beautifully.
Yeah, I didn't put it as intricate and detailed as you did, but basically, yes.
But that's a perfect summary because it's twofold, two ways you could be up against the challenge to get to the next level. The
Right.
first being, like you just said, is you're either self-sabotaging or you're not ready for it, whether you're conscious of it or not. And
Right.
the other piece being, you're operating in an old paradigm that was serving you really, really well, but then it's actually getting in the way because there's probably lots of things you can shed out of that, to move on to the next level and bring in new behaviors and skills or focuses and priorities so that you're focusing on the right thing. So that was perfectly said, because yes, it's multi-layered. And so there's so many pieces to that. So how do we get to doing the same things, right? So I'll go back to the example of my client to continue the thread. She was involving herself in things that her team were really accountable and responsible for, because that's just what she'd always done. She'd been used to doing those things. And so there's that layer of doing the same things and then needing to shift up your priorities. Once she was able to shift her focus on being a leader and immersing herself in that skill set that was she's excellent at, and continuing to build on the things based on the scale she's trying to go to, all of a sudden everything shifted because she had more time, more energy, more freedom to focus on what's actually going to get them to that next, which is the 3 million, the $5 million mark.
That's
Right.
that's that's amazing. And
Yeah,
yes, I know you have so much more to elaborate on that, but I want to try to pick your brain as much as I can on different and
please do.
various aspects, and we have a short amount of time. So I want to go on to the next thing, which is you're the CEO of Happy Heart Living Life Inc. Now, how did that come about, and what is that about?
Okay, so I am the founder of Happy Heart Loving Life, and thus I've appointed myself CEO,
Yes,
frankly. So,
self-appointed,
yes.
self-made.
Um, and at the beginning, it's Chief Everything Officer, right? And then later on, it becomes Chief Executive Officer. So
That's
it's
the
a multifaceted role.
that's a beautiful thing about uh, creating your own business. You can take on whatever role you decide. You're the
Yeah.
boss.
Absolutely. And then you get to, as you scale, you get to, delegate or, hire team and have great people working with you. So that's wonderful. And
So
so,
excuse me, when did this business, when did you create this business?
yes, in 2020. So
Oh,
I was
2020. Okay.
actually, I realized that I had been operating on some really old paradigms that had me really burnt out. And not only was I really burnt out, I had a lot of trauma that I hadn't dealt with because I had great coping mechanisms, right? Yes, trauma is huge because when you've had a lot of trauma, you become a master of being effective, high performing, high functioning, even though you are really depleted. And so it manifests in so many different ways. And so I was doing great. So you're flying under the radar and you tend to be a happy person. So nobody knows you're the pile of doo-doo you're dealing with basically under the
Right. No,
hood.
no, I get it. No, I get it.
And then
Exactly.
you yourself don't even want to recognize it because everything's good and we just move on and we just keep surviving and we keep doing.
Right.
And so when I got to a point and I finally changed my life and I realized, hey, I'm not okay. I need to deal with stuff and I need a break. I took 10 months off of my corporate role. And through the healing journey was when I came across the somatic work and I saw how powerful it was. And so I had this skill set in corporate product development, and I was able to bring corporate structure to small businesses. So my somatic mentor actually has a great coaching program, and I wanted to support her in doing that. And so I was, helping her with her business, getting it more established off the ground. And I was like, you know what? This is about, I need to like create a business because this is everybody should know they can live a good life that they love and be happy and still have all the things that they could possibly want. And you don't have to grind it out and you don't have to be miserable and you don't have to sacrifice everything. You really can love the life you have and be happy and not just be happy with enough, but like have an abundance of whatever you want. And
That's a
so
that's
that's
amazing that you say that. And the reason why you see me with this smile on my face, it's not just for show. You're striking chords within me because I just and this is about you, but I just started my own LLC like a couple of months ago. So I'm in the building stages of it, but that's exactly the mind frame that I'm running on right now. Because for the longest time, working for someone else, which is fine. I just existed and coped with my, like you said, my traumas and just ran that way and considered myself successful doing, that. I mean, and success is all perspective anyway. So, but it's just amazing that what you're talking about, that's what motivated me to create Enlightened, Empowered, Evolved LLC, which is
yeah.
the head of this podcast. Go ahead.
And that's wonderful because, like you said, like a lot of people are waking up to the fact that it's time to live differently. The old paradigms of operating where we expected to be stressed out in order to have enough. That's just not flying. People have, we know too much now. We know too much about what's available to us. We know too much about how our bodies function. There's just too much information for us to continue to accept that things the way they were is still
Right.
okay.
Right. That's
You know,
amazing. And that's amazing. It's like when there's always going to be positives and negatives to everything. It depends on what you choose to place your focus on because, and you'll see where I'm going with this in regards to like information. Okay, then you break it down more. The internet. So, I hear people that say from both perspectives. Oh, it's a negative thing, or I don't see it as that because everything that I look up, everything that comes to me is information to help me because that's what I'm into. So that's what I gather. That's what I get. I look up things that's going to elevate me. So therefore, it's a digital library that I can find information and not just look up information from one perspective, but to continue to do my research, and order
absolutely.
books and watch seminars and do this. So I look at it as a good thing. And then being able to connect like here with you and you're in a totally different country. That's amazing. I mean, it's just stuff that when I was younger, I would have never thought of this. I would never thought I would live to see something like this where I'm talking to a person and it seems like we're in the same room. I can hear you as clear as day, and it's just amazing. But yeah, back to your point that it's amazing. I just wanted to elaborate on that just to, when you say things
Yeah.
and you'll notice that excite me, you're going to hear me interject in it because, and like I
As
said,
you should.
yeah, yes, because, I love, engaging in conversations where, it's aligned. And I mean, and I don't mean every single thing has to be aligned, but the general energy, the general direction of the conversation is meshing. When it
Yeah,
is, and it's
absolutely.
symmetric and just connecting, because when you get people that like yourself and I that love learning and sharing and expressing, it's amazing. You can't go wrong with that, you know. And it's not about
Absolutely.
who knows what more than what, because if you're engaging with a person like that, they're gonna, just by listening to them talk, they're gonna pull you up to their level right there, you know, and vice
Absolutely.
versa. You're gonna learn different things from each other, as it should, and so that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, and I love that you said that because so I'm actually going to bring in three kind of strings in line with what you just said. So, one being information being available to us and us using it as we should. I think for a lot of the a really core element of the work that I do is supporting my clients. And making sure that whatever they're bringing into their worlds, they feel that personal power to pick and choose what's going to work for them and then choose their experience in the world. So yes, there is a lot of negativity. We're not trying to be Pollyanna and not actually acknowledge that there's really challenging stuff happening in the world, and I'm trying really hard not to swear.
No, exactly, exactly. And that's just
Really
what I said.
challenge.
It's like it's there, but you can it just the way you look at it and the way you like, okay, I look at, and not to offset what you said or try to one up you, but I look at challenges as opportunities now. And not saying that they don't knock me on my butt every now and then, mentally or whatever, because they do. But because of the work that I've done on myself and the education that, this educating myself and the practices I put forth, and um, I know how to quickly, and sometimes not so quickly, but bounce back and see what I can learn from what happened. Either what absorb whatever out there, and mostly look at myself and see, wait a minute, what's going on with me? You know, why did I
Absolutely.
draw this to me, and why, what's going on here? So
Yeah, and the beauty of that is, knowing that you have that personal power to choose your experience doesn't
right.
mean things don't happen, but you choose how you respond to it. And that's a core element of my work is not only knowing that you are resilient, but helping you build up tools and strategies so you can recognize when you're being pulled out of the game by your unconscious responses. So if you think about you're hungry, you must eat, that you don't have to think about that response. It just is part of your survival mechanism. And so a lot of us, our nervous systems are primed to flag danger in certain circumstances. And so it takes us out of the game well before we would really want to be. And or we think that we don't have any power because we're experiencing these emotions, sensations, these stress responses, and so we think that we don't have a choice. We are just subject to them, and if we continue to expose ourselves to that growth or expansion, we're going to continue to experience these threats or these reactions. So therefore you're able to learn the strategies and tools to build your resilience so that you can bounce back. Okay, oh, this happened. Okay, this is an opportunity for me to dive deeper, look inwards, and discover how am I going to, like, what's happening. Get curious. Curiosity is a cornerstone of the work that I do, because get curious about what's happening within you. Our bodies have so much wisdom in it, not just wisdom from the standpoint of, okay, we digest food and like the natural mechanisms, but wisdom in terms of how to keep us safe, comfortable, and alive. And so using that wisdom, we're able to then not only use what we're bringing in externally, but also draw out what we have based on our own unique experiences. So if you think about it, humans have common challenges with unique experiences.
Wow, I like
So
the way you
you,
orchestrate common challenges with unique experiences. Amazing. Go ahead.
Yeah. So if you think about it, you and I have both experienced trauma, right?
Right,
Not the
right,
same trauma. We might have
right.
the same challenges of maybe expressing ourselves or how we respond to stress, but the way we got there is a unique experience. And so by not cookie cutter saying, oh, when you're stressed out or trauma behaves like this, and you understanding the underlying mechanisms that are contributing to the stressors or the challenge, and then using your wisdom to then extract how you apply that information so that it serves you for your greatest good and that of anybody else that you interact with or serve is really key.
That's amazing. That the what you do is to basically help people tune into their own power. You're helping them. You're not coming. As I listen to you, you don't present yourself as you have all the power, and people are just helpless. You, even the way that you explained it, is that it it makes me feel myself empowered just by listening to you and wanting to know more. And that's amazing. I think that's very important because oftentimes, and not to focus on this, but just to give a different a different outlook. Oftentimes, those that have been that have the been called, or their their passion is to help others, have to be very careful, because in my experience, it always seems like, not always, but sometimes it can seem like they're up here and you're just way down here, and you just need me to just keep talking and telling you because I know everything. And that's not what the energy that I um, absorb when I'm listening to you. That's amazing. And yes, yes, we're down to about 7 minutes, so I want to move forward, and I want to find out a little bit about this. You've been accepted as an executive contributor for Brains Magazine. Now, I haven't heard of that magazine. Can you tell us, first of all, how that came about?
Absolutely. So, who you surround yourself with matters.
Yes. See, I'm not going to say anything because I know that if I start talking in regards to what you just said, then I'll take over. And I don't want to do that. This is about you.
Okay.
Go ahead. But all I can say is yes, exactly. It took me a while
So,
to learn that, but I know it now.
yes. And so when you surround yourself with some driven, talented people, you catch the eye of other people. And so I have some amazing coach friends who write for Brains, and we're connected on LinkedIn. And so that's how I believe they came to me. They saw some of my content, they saw my website, and even though I took a hiatus last year really on writing content and promoting my business and just took referrals and served my clients.
Right.
My content was still out there. And so I ended up being approached by them, and they said they really enjoyed the approach that I have to the work. Even though somatic work is becoming like the coaching industry has known about mindsets and the law of attraction and manifestation for decades, the mind body connection is just now being understood to the magnitude and level of impact. If you think about even our parents' generation, it was like you got to be tough. Even our generation, you got to be
Right.
tough, mind over matter, ignore your body.
Right.
How about we use our bodies as the
Push through
best
it. Yeah.
tool? Yeah.
Yes,
How about we
yes.
get to know how to like play our instrument, how to drive our machine so that it'll serve us instead of us, trying to subjugate it. It's
Wow.
so different.
Yes, yes. Amazing.
Yeah.
So where's this that magazine, not to make the focus about the magazine, but that's a great accomplishment when anyone acknowledges, especially an organization, or, notices, your gifts, your talents. That feels really good. Where's this magazine out of? Is that out of Canada?
So no, it's out of I want to say Zurich, but I might be wrong. I believe it's out of
Okay.
Zurich. And so they are, oh no, I might be wrong about that. I'll have to look that up.
Okay. Okay.
But it's one of the Scandinavian countries, and they are they have a large readership. I believe it's like 165
Wow. So you're going
countries,
to be
and
writing for them.
yes, yes. So I've submitted my profile, and I'm going to start writing very, very soon. I have a whole pile of content, and it's just a matter of, channeling, because I have so much to say.
That's
It's just a matter of
amazing. That's
channeling my
amazing.
focus. Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's
you'll
amazing.
be
I
able to
want
see
to
my
look that
article
up.
soon.
And if you remember, when you do when your information does get to that, let me know so I can look it up. If I have to buy something to buy the articles or whatever, let me know, because I'll be willing to support that. So we got
Thank
about
you.
3 minutes left. And what I want to ask you before we conclude this segment is, can you share your website, and how can people find you, your
Absolutely.
services, inquire about your services, read a little bit about you? How can we do that?
Absolutely. So I launched you can visit happyheartlovinlife.com. So that's HAPPYHEARTLOVINLIFE.com. And so the Lovin doesn't have a G, it's shortened Lovin life. And you can see my group program that's available there. I will be launching another, like, a 4-week mini mind, not a mastermind, but like a mini mind to help introduce people to somatics. And I will be launching that in July. This is the first time I've announced it. I believe I'm only going to have 10 spots for that. So it probably will get out word of mouth before it actually gets posted online. So if you're curious, send me an email at info@happyheartlovinlife, and I'll make sure that you get it. I've also provided you my link tree, and you can email me through the link tree as well. And yes, I have a 12-month group coaching program that's just launched for anybody that has been doing the personal development work for some time and has just kind of come up against a ceiling. It's like a very focused, rapid fire kind of coaching that gets you really deep, really fast. But then we spend the whole year building on that container, so that shift, that change, that expansion into that version of yourself is really sustainable and long lasting. And so you're building consistent behavior. So it's not like a course that you're consuming a lot of content. It's a lot of inquiry and introspection, so that you can understand how it is that you're relating to yourself, so that you can then apply what you already know towards your objectives. And
Amazing.
yeah,
Yes, amazing. Well, thank you very much, Sonia, for coming on and speaking with us today. I appreciate you. Don't forget, everyone who's watching this, hit the like, the subscribe button, no matter where you're watching it, and check out the website at 333empowered.com. See you soon. Love and appreciation to everyone. Thank you.